I don't know where it is. There it is, number 14. We don't have that, so you just put NA. And the rest of them put green in your green column.
Hi, what's your name?
Barbara Jacob.
And what is your position here?
I'm a radio operator.
So what kinds of things do you do?
Everything. You know, you just...
What are you doing today, for instance, here?
Well, today we're trying to get these Jeeps ready for inspection. And so we're cleaning them and painting them and whatever's, you know, needs, check the oil, all that good stuff.
How long have you been in the National Guard?
A year and a half.
And how do you find it?
I love it. I'll never get out of it.
What motivated you to join in the first place?
Well, to be honest, it was my father. Like, you know, I'm a military brat, and I've been in the military most of my life, but I didn't want to go in regular Army. And so somebody told me to go to the National Guard because I went to Army Reserves, and like they tried to get me to go regular Army, and I wouldn't do it.
And you don't feel out of place as a woman here?
No, at first I did because I thought the men would resent me, but I'm not a women's libber or anything. I'm just doing what I want to do. And they respect me and I respect them. And I feel fine.
Thank you.
All righty.
How about combat? Would you want to go into combat?
I would go into combat, but I don't think it's women's place to be there.
How come?
Well, because I just don't feel like a woman holds up like a man. I think, you know, women are different. They're not built for wartime, I think, but most women would fight if nobody else would. But they just aren't built for it. They have too many, you know, female characteristics that need to be taken care of, and they're just not built for war.
Women's place then in military is where?
I think a woman's place in the military is anywhere except in combat. I mean, a woman can fix a Jeep just like a man can, or climb a pole or whatever, but combat is different. It's a lot of mental pressures, it's scary, and I just don't think a woman could hold up to it.
Rolling.
You're a second lieutenant here in the Guards. What do you do?
I'm involved in the signal communications planning. I'm the telephone digital communications officer. I'm involved with setting up telephone communications on a local basis between units. We establish communications between battle line positions and supply units behind the lines.
Do you work for men and under men, or do men work under you?
Well, all of those. I work directly under someone. I'm an assistant telephone digital communications officer, still in a training status at this time. So I work for men, I work with men in the planning element, and there are also men working under me.
How do you find that?
I'm sure I find it very much the way the men would. I do my job, they do their job. It seems to work very well accepted.
You went through a basic training program, 6 weeks, right?
It was 8 weeks.
8 weeks.
Right, and then after that, the advanced individual training.
How did you find that experience?
Well, it was physically demanding. It was quite different from anything I'd ever been through before, as we went through very much the same types of activities that the men go through in training, combat training, training with rifle qualifications, hand grenade training.
Did most of the women that you went through with find it pretty difficult?
Yes, there were many medical discharges. You have to be in very good physical condition to go through that type of training. And many women just are not used to the grueling activities, the long hours, and the physical demands.
Do you see women as having a place in the military and on the combat line?
There's definitely a place for women in the military. For instance, I'm involved in the planning unit. There's a place for women in combat support positions. I'm not convinced about combat positions yet. I think it's on its way, but there are physical demands that women just are not capable of meeting at this time. Now, a lot of this could be changed if the training of women from childhood was different. They built more upper body strength. Of course, in combat, there are many instances that it's just awkward to have men and women together. I mean, we don't have the facilities.
Would you want to go into combat?
No, I don't think many of the men would either.
do here?
I'm a cook.
You're a cook. So, and then this is one weekend, once a month? Why did you get into the National Guard?
Experience.
How long have you been in?
Be 2 years in November.
How did you like basic training?
I didn't.
You didn't? Do most of the women you know who've been through it not like it?
They don't like it, but it's a lot of good memories.
Do you think it's more difficult for women than for men?
Not at all.
Do you think that women belong in combat fighting?
I don't.
You don't personally?
I don't personally.
How come?
I just wouldn't like to.
Do you think they could do the job?
Probably, yes.
If all of a sudden you got called to do something like that, would you?
Probably.
How about your relationship with, there are more men here than there are women?
We all get along fine. No problems at all.
So then you don't really think there's any problem with men accepting women in the military?
No.
Do most people, when they find out that you're in the Guards, think that's unusual for a woman?
Yes, they think it's very unusual.
But you don't think so?
No, not at all.
Rolling.
What is your position? You're brand new, right?
Right. This is my first weekend working at all, and I'm a second lieutenant.
Why did you join the National Guard?
Okay, I joined because I was looking for something new and something challenging, and I had thought about the military before. A friend of mine was in the National Guard and pointed me in this direction. I think it's a very worthwhile organization. So,
when people find out you're in the Guards, what's their reaction?
some of them can't understand why I would want to do something like this, but a lot of people have thought about it before themselves. One big reason that a lot of them don't get into it is because of the initial training that you have to go away for, but as a teacher I can make time for that during the summer.
Are you looking forward, do you have any fears at this point?
No,
You think you're going to fit right in?
I think so. This is a really easily compatible group of people. You can get along with them very well.
How about combat? Would you go to combat?
I suppose if I had to, but I don't anticipate it. Not on the front lines, not that type
Not
thing.
fighting.
Right.
Do you see women as doing that someday?
Some women someday, but not as a requirement. I don't think it'll ever be required that they draft a certain number of women and send them to the front line.